obligate
They haven't
future
said that. They haven't said that to me.
Give Barbara a call. She was in our meeting. We were working the number.
This is your sign. I put tabs by the things. If they have one
Sir?
digital, they
How are you?
Are there,
Good.
I think I'm gonna stumble over the word unnecessary. Doing the, go get those from her. I need to sign.
I will stutter a little bit, I'm sure.
That's about quick.
added that to your
Okay,
binder.
wait. I want you to send some of those, that cleared land photos to,
So we got a phone call from an ex-commissioner.
hang on. I want you
It's
to
about
send
that
the-
clear land.
Okay. I want you to send the photos. They don't have a permit. I want you to send the photos to them, put up, and I want you to send Jumanji also
Okay.
to Guy. What did the ex-commissioner have to say?
That, the constituent, the landowner was a constituent of hers, and he told the owner and a permit, wants to know why it's being stopped. And Jenny looked it up, and he did apply for a permit, but he never
No,
responded.
he's a big truck. He's filled in a Class A one.
Okay, I'm not telling him that.
Yeah.
Here's the fire pit pictures. They do have those to put up, and that's all
What
I
did
have.
I spell on this? Oh.
Turn left, turn right,
My gosh.
turn left.
Put your ID in quick.
Oh, if you want to start, Jackie.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. You want to turn left or turn right?
Yeah. I thought I'm gonna check ways.
Good morning.
Morning.
I would like to call to order the Pasco Board of County Commission 10 o'clock meeting at January 24th, 2023. At this time, silence all electronic devices and mute your microphones. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
O merciful Creator, your hand is open wide to satisfy the needs of every living creature. Make us thankful for your loving providence and grant that we, remembering the account that we must one day give, may be faithful stewards of your good gifts. Amen.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Here.
District 2, Commissioner Waitman.
Here.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Here.
District 4, Commissioner Bradford.
Here.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Here. Now is the time for public comment. Citizens are given an opportunity to comment on any current or future agenda item coming before a board or on other business before the board's purview. Today's public comment will be handled as follows. First, we will take public comment from those who are here in person. Then, we will take public comment from those who are pre-registered for a WebEx link and currently on the queue. We request that when you address the board, comments are not directed personally at a commissioner or team member, but rather directed at the issues. This provides mutual respect between the board members and the public. After stating your name and address for the clerk, a 3-minute timer will be activated. After 2 minutes, a single beep will indicate you have 1 minute left. When your time is up, 2 beeps will sound, and you should close your comments. WebEx participants will be disconnected automatically when their time is up. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
I do, Mr. Chair. We have just a couple. We have James Mallow, followed by Kathy Julian, followed by Cindy Scarda. So, Mr. Mallow? There are others. I'm just reading the first 3. Just-
That's fine.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are we all doing this morning?
We're good.
Good? All right, good. I'm actually asking everybody. How is everybody doing?
Doing great.
Sorry, I didn't want to point out any one person. Anyway, just kidding. All right, Honorable Chairman and board members, staff, and members of the public, I stand in front of you today without title, without agenda, and with much respect for each and every one of you. I'm here to ask you directly to stop some madness going on and negotiate with the Madam Clerk. Am I off now? Can you hear me? Okay. The issue at hand is becoming a point of frustration and embarrassment for all constitutionals involved, the employees of the clerk and comptroller's office, which some people don't really think about, but we have to mention them, and many of your constituents. I'm speaking of the court case that pits the comptroller's office, Clerk Comptroller's Office against the Board of County Commissioners. The clerk's ask is very basic. Pay for the IT needs of the office, which there is no question that the county is responsible for, and must properly fund the office with consideration for the logistical and physical challenges a county the size and the population growth as Pasco possesses. The IT ask being close to $1 million and the proper funding being close to $7 million can be found within our $2 billion budget without raising 1 cent of taxpayer money, as long as there's reasonable and proper prioritization. The clerk's comptroller's office employees are the lowest paid of all constitutionals. Many of the challengers of the clerk comptroller's office is unique to Pasco with the way the Pasco's infrastructure has been built, our growth patterns, and our pool of available workforce. Honorable Chairman and Commissioners, my ask is simple. Lead the Commission. Get together and lead. No court case. Don't need that. Am I done? Oh, close. The consensus builder and be a consensus builder and demand that your attorneys and your staff open up communication with the Clerk Comptroller's Office and negotiate a solution in good faith. You all cannot sit here another day together at this dais without trying to resolve this issue. Resolving the issue in court will only set precedent that could be very bad for Pasco as a whole and possibly have very negative statewide impact. I also ask you to investigate how we got here, which is really important. So self-reflection is really needed here, because you got to also think about the other constitutionals that maybe there hasn't been so great of communication at times. I believe the only way that we got to this point is by there being no communication, miscommunication, or even worse, negligence. Please stop the madness and come to the table with each other. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to address that comment. We were sued. Nikki and I actually met yesterday to talk about future ways to go forward. And we agreed we're going to talk with each other. I recommend that she talk to all the Board of County Commissioners, not just deal with the administrator. So right now, she's suing us. If that lawsuit stops, that starts a conversation.
This is a DEC action that the clerk's office has filed against the county commission. The legal issue is what is her state responsibility and what is her local responsibility. There's a difference of opinion. And, that's a legal issue that will impact, you're right, it'll impact, if we agree that funding this courthouse is a local responsibility, that affects 67 counties.
But sir, your own chairman just stated that, the conversation has to be had.
Comments?
And should be had. And so it can't, look, I know each one of you personally, and I consider each one of you a friend. And friends this doesn't happen with friends. Like, I know it's a business. I know at the end of the day, you have to have, it's a business and it has to move forward. But I think the leadership, I think each one of you have such great leadership in your hearts, right? And you were all elected. And so you were elected to be a leader and to solve problems, not to have this waste taxpayer money in court. Like, I'm against wasting taxpayer money. Right? I think we all are.
We're
So
going to close public comment.
So,
I mean, we had a conversation
Thank you.
yesterday. We'll see where she takes it from here. We're happy to work with her. We think a lot of her. Like to get it resolved, but again, we got to stand with our county attorney as well to what our
just
obligation
lead
is.
together, please.
Yeah, I think,
Mrs. Starkey.
well, we are in litigation, so I think our discussions are limited to client attorney. I mean, I don't think we can.
If the board wishes to have a litigation assessment meeting on this case, I would be happy to bring that to you at your next meeting.
And that's what I'm
I think that would be appropriate.
asking for. That's the only thing that I'm asking for, is you all get together and lead as one. Thank you very much. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Mallow, for your comments. Next up, Ms. Julian.
always get the best people to follow when I come to speak. So I'm talking about something which was exposed last week at the school board meeting. A couple of my friends found that in the My Pasco link, they accessed it through kindergartners and a third graders.
We just need your full name and address.
Oh, okay, my name is Kathy Julian, and I live in Golden Acres.
Thank you.
So they found on the My Pasco link, accessing it through a sign-in from a kindergartner and a third grader, which are young students, that they were able to access porn on the school website. Now, my understanding is by Friday, those links were broken and the information was taken down, but I don't know that that's enough because it was exposed, these kids were exposed to it. That should have never happened. But the reason why I'm here talking to you about it is not because of that issue, but because a lot of these porn issues were located in books that are found in the Pasco County Library. And I'm concerned why we would be spending taxpayer money, we should be giving it to the clerk's office, not buying books with questionable pictures in them. I don't agree with discussing different orientations and things with young children, but there could be a case made for that. There is no way to make a case for the pictures in these books. And if you walk into a public library, we all know, we all have kids, we all know that you walk into a public library, you can go anywhere in the library and look. Even when we had Blockbusters and they used to rent movies like this, they were movies. All you could see was the cover. And you had to go into a special room and you had to be of a certain age. At our public libraries, that's not the case. And it's really disturbing to me, just as a mom and as a community member. But I mean, I think our school board is in trouble because there was new law passed last year saying that explicitly you could not do this with kindergarten through third graders. And like I said, links from those age groups were used to access this information. And it has been removed, but that's not enough. Somebody needs to be held accountable. Just removing it doesn't make what happened go away. It happened, and that's the issue. I mean, if I go out and do something wrong, and then I say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean to do something wrong, that doesn't mean I didn't do wrong what I did. So anyway, that's really all I have to say, and thank you for your time.
Kathy? Kathy, before you go, Kathy Pierce in the back, that's under her department, Assistant County Administrator.
I will
Please
contact
talk
her.
with her, because I will say, I think I can say for the board, we don't want to have any porn in our libraries either.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Next up is Cindy Scarda, followed by Pastor Troy Peterson, followed by Douglas Chinser, and then Brian Pettis.
Hello, thank you for allowing me the time to speak. I want to follow up with Kathy. I am a member of Pasco County, and I'm appalled that these materials are in our public school libraries, and that kids as young as 6, 7, and 8-year-olds can access this type of material. I know there are new laws being passed. We have the Parental Bill of Rights. We also have a new law, I believe, right now about the libraries, but doesn't mean they're always adhered to. You know, you've got some teachers that don't agree with laws like that and go and do whatever they care to do in their classrooms. So I know this bill, I hope that the new bill being passed will have some teeth in it, because the Florida statute 847.012 that is considered a third-degree felony and is punishable up to 5 years in prison or a $5,000 fine for literally showing porn to children. So it should be alarming to everybody, and if you really took a look at some of that material, you would be appalled. I don't know if any of you have small children, but you would never allow that to be shown to your children. And that it is accessible in our schools and in our public libraries should be appalling to everybody, because it's really criminal. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I hope that maybe you take a look at some videos that we're going to be sending you, or you take a look at some of the materials. I mean, if you look at some of the books, Genderqueer, a memoir, or All Boys Aren't Blue, take a look at that. A lot of us in this room wouldn't even dare read that to you because it's so offensive. So I hope you really take a look at it and understand what it is that we're talking about and why parents are so concerned. We are supposed to be leading the country in parental rights. You know, we have a great governor who has passed some legislation, is doing good things, but it's up to you to make sure that it's held up and that it's followed and that it's adhered to. So I will be following up to see what's taken out of the library, not just new items being brought to the library by outside people or grants or whatever, or being bought, but the materials that are already there are taken out of the library. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Scarda? Ms. Scarda?
No
Ma'am, could you, did you state your address for the record in the
I'm in
beginning?
San Antonio,
Okay.
Was that enough?
No. Street address, please.
Full address.
29157,
What?
What street?
Key Lake.
Thank you. All right, Pastor Troy Peterson.
Good morning, Commissioners, Chair, staff. Troy Peterson, 8114 Leo Kidd Road, Port Richey, Florida. That's Light of the World Tabernacle. I wasn't planning on speaking on this, but on the way over here, I just come from a prayer meeting where pastors get together every Tuesday morning at Light of the or over at the Oasis Coffee Spot, and we pray specifically for our commissioners, for our school board members, for our mayors, for our government leaders. And in that prayer meeting, one of the elders at Calvary Chapel, we were praying, and he said, Troy, this is what you need to tell them. And I'm like, okay, this comes after prayer. Somebody cares Pasco is here to hold up your arms, just like Aaron did with Moses. See, but then Pastor Leonard went one step further. Why was Aaron holding up Moses' arms? Moses had the staff, and that staff became heavy, right? What is the staff? The staff is the staff of righteousness. So we're here not only to pray for you to hold up your arms, but to show you that when we stand up for righteousness, God will bless Pasco County. Number one, homework. I'm going to give you guys a homework assignment. Okay, you ready? Write this down. Welcome, Commissioner Bradford. Nice to meet you. Congratulations on your win. Mr. Whiteman, congratulations. I need to give you guys a homework assignment. www.pocp.org. That's Protect Our Children Project. Okay, and so in Pasco County schools, when they decided to allow a girl, which was a girl, go into the boys' shower room, and the coach was threatened to be fired, Protect Our Children Project was founded. We are now in 24 counties in the state of Florida, and we have Sheriff Grady Judd's backing on the Stop Cell Phone Porn Project. So check out that website because we will be addressing these books that are in our public libraries because you guys have control over that. And we know, as Commissioner said, you guys don't want them books in there. So that's number two. Number two, I want you to look at the book of Haggai, chapter 1 and chapter 2. Because what you see, I could read it, but I only have 3 minutes. What you see is the priest, Joshua, teaming up with the government, Zerubbabel. And the Spirit of God comes upon the governor, Zerubbabel, and says, what house will you build me? See, there's a misunderstanding that the church is a building. The church isn't a building. The church is the people. See, and there are some of us that are temples of the living God. We have the Holy Ghost in us. And them people want to help you lead our county. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Doug Chinser? Douglas Chinser, sorry.
How you doing? My name is Douglas Chinchar. I live at 19471 Leonard Road in Lutz, Florida. My name is Douglas Chinchar again, and I am the CFO of S&S Events. It's an organization that runs volleyball events around the country, but based in Orlando, Florida. I, of course, handle the branch here in Pasco County, and we call ourselves No Name Volleyball. I've been living here in Pasco County for 19 years, and I've coached volleyball in Pasco County for 13 years. We are the first volleyball group / club to help the Wesley Chapel Sports Complex, which is run by Rad Sports, who manages this facility, to set up and run volleyball events starting in late 2020. Our first event was the MLK Volleyball Classic, a 3-day event in January of 2021. We were also very instrumental in putting on safe volleyball tournaments during the COVID crisis. And at that time, nobody was running volleyball tournaments. We were able to get things going to create income and interest in this facility. I'm a very successful businessman that has owned a multi-million-dollar company for the past 18 years. I know that the simple and foremost goal is not only to provide a fantastic product, but to create income. And by this is securing room nights for Pasco County. And that also creates restaurants, entertainment, and everything around our area. That is the ultimate goal. In this volleyball world, it's important to have a great reputation of running events so teams, directors, and sponsors will follow you. The old saying goes, if you build it, they will come. Pasco County built a great sports complex. We build the people that come to these events. Using the request of public records, we were able to pull all the room nights recorded since the opening of the Wesley Chapel Sports Complex. In our first year, 2021, we secured over 1,000 room nights with 5 events. COVID made it tough, but we pulled it through. In 2022, we secured 1,203 room nights with only 2 events. So with even less events, we increased our numbers. We were not given all the dates that we requested. A volleyball group by the name of Hype Nation from out of state came on in, took a date, which was 2/12 and 2/13, that we held the year before. Hype Nation only secured 35 room nights. We had 114 the year before. We got the event back this year. Hasn't happened yet because it's in February, but we've already secured 384 room nights for the upcoming February event. Okay. In 2023, we already secured 786 room nights. Okay. The MLK tournament that we want has been pulled away from us for next year. We've increased our nights every year. We're looking at over 1,000 room nights for the MLK tournament. Our problem is this: for whatever reason, this tournament has been taken away from us for 2024. We've been given no reason, no explanations. We know that the bottom line is to create income for our county. Room nights, room nights, room nights. We've invested a lot of time and a lot of effort to make this tournament happen. We have a following. The teams that are from out of state or out of this area will not attend this event if we do not run this event. We'd just like to know why we're not able to get this event for 2024 after 3 years of great success. I thank you for your time. I do have information here if you'd like to keep it. It's just the exact numbers pulled from the public records, which I'm sure you already have. Thank you so much.
Did you want to say something?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Whedon?
Andy Taylor, please.
It's Kathy, right? She's outside.
Thanks so much.
How do I bookmark this?
All right. Mr. Paris.
Brian Paris, address is on record. I'm actually here to speak about my community. We used to be zoned for agriculture, and then we were changed to community farm and garden without us knowing. But a lot of us have actually built community farms and gardens in our community, and we feed people in our community, senior citizens who are struggling to just get by to whether pay bills or eat. Kids in my area who really don't have a lot of parental guidance who we use to feed. We even feed first responders, but yet we have one jerk off in our neighborhood who likes to file false code enforcement reports, and yet nothing happens to him. And now here, I got to go to court on Thursday to defend my community farm because they're trying to take my farm away from me, and it's ridiculous. Our rights are by God, not by the government. No one's here should be able to tell us and push government tyranny on us. I even told this guy, he's filed reports before, and we've had code enforcement come out and clear me. We even agreed. I said, all right, I won't have any roosters. I can compromise. That's understandable, whatever. But to come out and try to take animals away that we use to feed people with is ridiculous. You know, just because we knew it was coming down the road where we knew eggs were going to be high, food was going to be scarce. And so to take away people's food when it comes to paying bills or whatever, it's really a disgrace what's going on. That code enforcement can just believe some guy that files false reports. I have letters from people in my neighborhood that will tell you that this guy's a liar. He's actually groped a lot of women, showed his yoo-hoo to a lot of the ladies in the neighborhood. And the action needs, when we win our case, we need to be able to stop people who are filing false reports because they can't just keep happening. And That's all I wanted to say about that. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, that's all I have signed up. I don't know if anyone's in person, and we have no one on WebEx.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that didn't sign up that would like to address the board from public comment? Okay. Seeing no one, we'll close public comment. Now's the time for resolutions. Madam Clerk, would you read the first resolution?
Yes, is anyone here for registered nurse anesthetics? Anesthetist. I'm going to stumble through this one. I'm so sorry. Anesthetist. Please step up to the podium and forgive me for all of the mispronunciations I will say on this one. And I am happy for you to tell me as I'm reading it if I get it wrong. Wonderful. All right, I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution number 23-062, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, designating January 22nd through the 28th, 2023 as Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist Week to recognize the importance of their role in providing high-quality care for the citizens of Pasco County. Whereas Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetists, CRNAs, are advanced practiced registered nurses providing anesthesia care to patients in the United States for more than 150 years. CRNAs are among the nation's most trusted professionals, and whereas legislation passed by Congress in 1986 made nurse anesthetists the first nurse specialty to be accorded direct reimbursement rights by Medicare. And whereas CRNAs are primarily anesthesia providers in rural communities and continue to be a primary provider of anesthesia care in U.S. military personnel. And whereas CRNAs practice in every setting in which anesthesia is delivered, from traditional hospital surgical suites to, obstetrical, how do you pronounce that? Obstetrical, thank you, delivery rooms, to critical access hospitals, from ambulatory surgical centers to the offices of dentists, podiatrists, ophthalmologists, pain management specialists, and more. ANRES CRNAs are qualified to make independent judgments regarding all aspects of anesthesia care based on their education, training, and licensure. ANRES CRNAs are trusted anesthesia experts on the front lines, caring for patients safely and compassionately, delivering specialized, cost-effective care to all patients, from newborns to seniors, for every type of procedure in all types of facilities. ANRES CRNAs have courageously served on the front lines of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, using their advanced skills in airway management, intubation, and ventilator management to care for the sickest patients. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby designates January 22nd through the 28th, 2023 as National Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist Week. Sorry. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 24th day of January 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Oakley.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming today, and we're happy to recognize you and the care that you give, and I'm going to stay away from those words that I probably cannot pronounce. Y'all would have them spelled a different way probably by the time I finish pronouncing it, so, but we certainly appreciate the care you give to our citizens here in Pasco County and greatly appreciate it. So, anybody else like to speak? If not,
I'd like to thank you during COVID, the great work you guys had to do, dedicating yourselves every step of the way, and greatly appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Commissioners. We really, really appreciate this great honor and recognition.
Commissioner Bradford?
my daughter's a nurse practitioner. She had that route, your route, or a physician assistant. She went with the one I could pronounce. Same amount of money, too, by the way. No, thank you. Okay. Would y'all like to join me down front
Yes,
for pictures?
and my daughter's a physician assistant, and I'm really grateful that we have all these different pathways to help people get more access and better access to medical care. So it's not just one way, right?
Yep.
Thank you. I work in a surgery center in Port Richey as an independent CRNA.
where I provide opioid-free and opioid-sparing anesthesia
Nice.
to mostly Medicare and Medicaid patients for dental surgery and orthopedic surgery. So I'm very proud to be able to offer that type of service to the, the constituents and residents in Pasco County. So it's my pleasure and my honor today here in front of you to receive this recognition. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, would y'all join me down front for a picture?
Okay, folks, right here, please.
It's chilly out there.
iPhone, and then the camera. Right here. One more. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you. Thank you so very, very much.
Actually, right now.
And Madam Clerk, the next resolution,
University of Washington.
RS2.
Where that
Is anyone here, Pasco Citizens Committee?
Come on up.
All right, Penny for Pasco referendum. If you're here, please step up to the podium. Oh, no brave soul to be at the front. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and read the resolution. You guys can work out who's going to stand at the mic. All right, resolution number 23-059, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, expressing appreciation to the Pasco Citizens Committee for their efforts and hard work promoting the Penny for Pasco referendum. Whereas the Pasco Citizens Committee is a group of volunteers from across Pasco County from every political affiliation, each with a long-term commitment to and involvement in civic and charitable activities, who bonded together for love of the Pasco County community with the vision of ensuring that the high quality of life for existing and future residents of Pasco County will be secured. And whereas, to accomplish this purpose, the Pasco Citizens Committee dedicated itself to the issues related to the Penny for Pasco referendum and educated and informed the citizens of Pasco County on the need for improved educational opportunities, new schools to reduce overcrowding, transportation improvements to address traffic congestion, improving public safety, acquiring environmentally sensitive lands, and building new infrastructure. And whereas the Pasco Citizens Committee lead the effort to promote the Penny for Pasco referendum by fundraising, writing, publishing, and distributing educational literature, and attending and speaking at public meetings and discussion forums. And whereas collectively the following members of the Pasco County Citizens Committee spent countless hours working on Penny for Pasco initiative: Michael Cox, Ray Gadd, Bruce Mills, Beth Frager, David Grooms, Diane Jones, Betsy Kuhn, Jennifer Motzinger, Stu Gibbons, Jennifer Seni, I knew I had that wrong, Jennifer Seni, Chris Williams, Bill Schutztowski, okay, Steve Haggerty, Barbara Wilhide, Ralph Lair, and Francis Warner Watkins. I did it. Whereas the electors of Pasco County approved the Penny for Pasco referendum on November 8, 2022, and therefore the quality of life in Pasco County will be greatly enhanced for present and future Pasco County residents. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, in regular session, duly assembled, that said board hereby expresses their gratitude and appreciation to the members of the Pasco Citizens Committee for their efforts, time, energy, and spirit resulting in the successful Penny for Pasco referendum. Done and resolved this 24th day of January 2023.
Move approval.
Oh, yeah. Second.
Okay.
Guess
Try
we'll
to
have
help
to do
you.
that first.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's really an honor to be sponsoring this resolution, and I know all of you and know all the hard work you did to make this come to fruition. And I don't think the citizens of Pasco County can truly appreciate how important this is for all of us, for the school district, for the cities, for the county. The work that's done with this money definitely highly increases our quality of life, and we are just so grateful that you private citizens stepped up and helped make this such a great success. So I'm sure my fellow commissioners have words as well.
Yep.
Commissioner Oakley?
Well, job well done, guys, because looking when you start a campaign like you did, you never know the result, but this is one of the best tax issues that we have in Pasco County. It does so much for our county and infrastructure and other things for all of us, all of our citizens. So we've got to be very thankful for all of our citizens actually voting this in that election. So, but a job well done from your committee, and we certainly appreciate all you do. So.
Okay. Commissioner Waitman?
Thank you. Like Commissioner Oakley said, campaigns are never easy, and every single one of you come from a different background and expertise, and thank you all for lending that to such an important initiative. We see other counties that aren't as fortunate to have the support that our Penny does, and you can see a difference in a quality of life that's there. So thank you all for being passionate and getting behind and supporting such an important issue, a quality of life issue for our county. And thank you all for joining the campaign circuit like we do. And congratulations. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Bradford?
Well done. Well done. You all did an incredible job, and to echo my fellow commissioners' sentiment down there, campaigning's never easy, but you guys did a great job. And what I like about how we structured this is it's accountable to the taxpayers. We know where the money's raised from, and we know where it's going, and it's our responsibility to spend it wisely. So I just want to say thank you again, and I appreciate each and every one of you.
All right. I'd like to say, again, great job. And, you know, it came from the campaign, but I think the base work that was done for spending the money the right way, putting the right projects in, from environmental, first responders, economic development now for the past two, I think we hit all the chords that the people want us to go. And I think as long as we keep working together to spend it the right way, doing the right things, it'll keep going. But again, it always takes a great campaign. And kudos for you guys for stepping up and helping make it happen. Commissioner Starkey?
Yeah, so last night I passed by Gulf High School and the elementary school. I can't remember which one is it Richey Elementary? Which is the one out there by the hospital? Yeah, so I passed by the schools one that was renovated and one that is being renovated. And it's just such a good feeling to drive by those schools and see them getting updated like that. And that's what part of the school district money has gone to, is renovating those schools. And of course, y'all know I love my trails. And the enjoyment and the relief that our county got during COVID to be able to get out on those Penny for Pasco funded trails was immense. I mean, we had people coming here from other counties to be able to get out and recreate freely and safely. And of course, transportation and the improvements that we've made with this Penny on transportation. I'm not sure everybody has understands all those intersections and improvements that we made. And of course, the environmental lands acquisition. But I did want to answer one thing, because we've been getting requests about oversight committee, and I know we have an oversight committee at the school district, right? I used to be there. But I just wanted the public and you all to rest assured that we do have oversight committees. We don't have one big one, but we have one for each pot of money. And so we are making sure that our money is being spent the way it was intended, and just want you to be comfortable knowing that we have our committees. So, okay, shall we hand these out?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you guys can speak, for sure. All of you, 3 minutes.
Now you want to get to the mic.
Good morning, Commissioners, and I want to first say thank you to the committee for everything that they did. They worked very, very hard in this campaign. And, you know, there was a time when, having lived in this county for 53-something years, I remember when the first half-cent penny was proposed and it failed. And when the current penny, or actually the very first penny, passed a very slim margin because there was a lot of opposition to that penny. When it came up for renewal that first time, there was a theme, and that was the fact that the school board, the cities, and the county made a promise to the citizens. And that promise was kept on how they were going to spend that money, and they were very, very good stewards of those dollars. That continued through what is now the current penny, and the renewal that will take effect in a few years. We hope that that promise is kept and it continues to be there. I also wanted to recognize Ralph Lair. He wasn't on the resolution because he's one of your indentured servitudes here working for the county, but it played a big part in it, and I want to thank him very much. You know, Commissioner Starkey, you mentioned the Oversight Committee. As a committee, we met and decided that, you know, because we renewed the penny for 15 years, that it was probably a good idea to shut it down, shut our committee down, stop having to file all the reports for stuff that, you know, we're not raising any money at this point or anything like that, and basically be prepared to hand the torch off to that next generation of folks that are going to step up. All of us here, other than a couple of them, we're getting old, and we're probably over this, right? This campaign stuff. We're going to leave it to these younger folks, but we need to develop that next group of advocates for the penny, right? And that was the impetus of the letter that I sent to Chairman Mariano and copied you all on, requesting that you really focus on doing 3 things. The first thing is to develop the staff level advocates, that you don't let the staff take it for granted that that funding source is always going to be there, because there's a chance that it may not. But the staff does a good job. We want them to continue to do a good job, and that there's good advocates there that are telling the public about it. We do believe that there should be a specific oversight of the penny for the dollars that are spent in the county, similar to what the school board does. I've actually heard from a couple cities that are looking to maybe put something like that in place as a result of that, because we sent the exact same letter to the cities as well, and also the school board. And then the third thing is that we would advocate that you do is to put a sign on everything that the penny pays for. You know, whether it's a building, a sheriff's deputy's car, or an ambulance, let the public know that their penny is paying for that very important thing. Because, you know, I will tell you, I held elected office before the penny came in to the county when I was at the city. And there were times when the police cars wouldn't work because they were old, retired FHP cars. So the penny made a world of difference for the quality of life in Pasco County. We just want to educate the people of that. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for what you personally did for us, helping us have a successful campaign. And, you know, a big special thanks to the citizens of Pasco County for approving it and putting their faith and trust that you'll spend the money wisely. Thank you.
Thank you. Ray Guy?
I just wanted to make one more comment, someone that doesn't often get recognized, And long before this penny started, I came over here and met with David Goldstein because it's really important to get the technical aspects of a ballot initiative right. As you know, in Hillsborough County, there's got challenged. And it's because of this fine attorney that we tear out the statute books and we make sure that we get the language right, that we got statutory guidance, and that's a credit to David Goldstein for his hard work on behalf of the county. Thank you.
Right here, thank you.
Nice. Anyone
Anyone
else? Yeah. Okay, I left out economic development. I don't want Dave Engel to be, I'm sorry, David, and we love our economic development money, and Bill Cronin, and they've done wonderful things with it.
Yeah, it's all been good. All right, do you want to go down there? We'll stay back up here with so many.
Yeah.
Okay. I have only one break.
Okay.
See you. That's going to go to Michael Cox.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi, guys. Hi, Seth.
Good to see you. How are you? Yeah, good to see you.
Oh, well, we have one money than we did. You got to pay the clerk for it. Okay, you're getting two. Oh, we got here.
Everybody, 1, 2, one more. Thank you.
Okay. Hold on, one more. Make this look good.
It's impossible.
All right.
For me,
Speak for yourself here.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you for helping. Hey, they have their own.
Okay, our next resolution, RS3.
All right. Is anyone here for Friends of Animal Services? All right, come on up.
So how do I see what the zoning is? Zoning petitions?
Mr. Cox, you're just involved in everything. All right, I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution number 23-060, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, commending Friends of Animal Services, Inc. for their generous support to the Pasco County Animal Services. Whereas Friends of Animal Services, Inc., Friends, is a nonprofit organization established for the purpose of enriching the lives of pets at the Pasco County Animal Services, PCAS, Adoption Center, and improving the likelihood of adoption into loving homes. And whereas the mission of Friends is to provide funding and resources that enhance the health, welfare, and environment of shelter animals, promote adoptions, advocate responsible pet ownership, promote pet sterilization, and foster public interest in and support for the Pasco County Animal Shelter and its services. And whereas from 2019 through 2022, Friends donated and provided grant funding of $264,500 to PCAS in support of its mission to help people and pets in Pasco County. This funding helped create the Pet Enrichment Program at the shelter to enhance the quality of life and ease the stress of shelter pets by providing pet toys, training aids, pet treats, and feeding puzzles. Friends also funded 2 new fully outfitted dog play yards and many other shelter enhancements, including a new Kubota utility vehicle and awnings to shade outdoor areas. And whereas Friends invested generously in the veterinary services provided by PCAS, their donation funded over 113 heartworm treatments for heartworm-positive dogs, which improved their likelihood of successful adoption. Friends also funded new medical equipment, including dental equipment, an ultrasound machine, a diagnostic equipment, and surgical instruments and post-surgery digital monitors. And whereas Friends administered $125,000 in national animal welfare grants to support PCAS's new public programs, including free vaccination clinics for over 700 pets, a pet food pantry, and pet boarding vouchers to help people retain their pets during financially hardships brought on by the pandemic, and programs for pet emergency medical procedures and pet sterilizations. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County that said board hereby commends Friends of Animal Services, Inc. for their generous support to Pasco County Animal Services to improve the lives of shelter pets and to provide them a better chance of finding a forever home. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 24th day of January 2023.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Bradford.
I am honored. This is my first one, Mr. Chair.
All right, it's a good one.
So if you come to my house on Thanksgiving or Christmas, it's a kennel. We have a lot of dogs in our house, and I think it's just absolutely wonderful that we have citizens that will step up to the plate for our dogs and cats and other animals that we have that sometimes fall through the cracks. You guys are truly doing what you should be doing and truly making a difference in the quality of life and the fabric of our community, because caring about animals brings out the best in everybody. And I'm proud to be a part of that, and I'm proud to do this resolution for you. So well done, and thank you.
Okay. Anyone going to add? Well, I'd like to say, Commissioner Cox, you've been involved as a commissioner. You were a very strong supporter of animal services right from the get-go, never wavered and haven't. Michael, the team that you have out there is absolutely phenomenal, and I think it makes the Friends so excited to help you achieve great things out there. And from all the people I've seen you make happy, compared to how it was when you first got here to where you've got this level to, you've made it premier. So thank you, Friends, and thank you, Michael, for the great team and all the great work. All right. Should we go out for a
I'd
picture?
also like to say that.
I'm sorry.
When I first got elected, it wasn't quite like this, and we had a lot of people out against our animal services and working, but we've stepped it up, and y'all have done a great job and put us where we need to be a premier county, and especially with this service that y'all provide. So really thank you for all that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
We've got-
Commissioners, I just want to say that the real heroes here is your staff. I mean,
Yep.
the people who work at Animal Services are the folks that every day face those challenges and do an incredible job. You know, when I had the pleasure of helping start Friends, when I was on the board, it was really to try to help them achieve their goals, right? So the very first time that I toured the shelter, if you haven't done it yet, you know, please go out there and do it. But the very first time I toured the shelter, the live release rate was in the 40s. And I'll never forget seeing the sight of the deceased animals that had been euthanized that morning that were stacked up like cordwood out there. It was a horrible sight. Now that they're, 93%, I think it is, or 93, that's just incredible. And, they do a great job out there. And our group just supports that. So thank you for recognizing us.
Appreciate it. All right. Michael, anyone else?
Hi, I'm Darlene Green, and I'd like to say that I appreciate everything that the commission has done to help the shelter progress the way that they have. And again, thanks to the staff that you have out there, they make it premier, and they are well-known throughout the state and the nation for the terrific job that they're doing, and also for the training. They're involved in training throughout the United States and involved in all types of committees. So Pasco County should be very proud of the staff that they have out there.
Yeah.
As the treasurer of Friends of Animal Services, it's always my pleasure to see funds donated by the community come across my desk, and so that I can go and deposit that money in to help the people in Pasco County with the shelter. So as the treasurer, I'd like to give you each a brochure so that you can remember us when you leave here today, and be happy to deposit your check as well. So, yeah. So I would like to do that, and but I can't tell you how pleased I am with the citizens in Pasco County, because they're truly the ones that step up and make these donations possible that we give back to the shelter, and we give 100% back, because everybody on our board are volunteers. The money that goes to the shelter out there is to help provide for the benefit and the welfare of the animals there. So I thank you very much. I thank the staff for what they do, and I thank Mike, Mr. Cox, for everything that he did, because he had the eye and the ear in the very beginning to come forward and show a spotlight on the shelter and the needs that they have out there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You know, I would be remiss if not to say that my wife Abby is the president of Friends of Animal Services. She does a lot of hard work. She's working in Orlando today, unfortunately. She's got to keep me in the life I've grown accustomed to. So I appreciate her involvement.
We knew that.
All right, should we go out for a picture?
She knows that now.
All right.
Take that, I'll send you a check. All right, all right.
You know, I saw that email. I couldn't make it though that day. Yeah, you did. Thank you for doing that. That's pretty cool. Cool. I'm with you right now. Did you really? Wow. That's yours. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Right here. Right here. And then right here. Thank you. Thank you.
That group, they deal with abused animals.
Okay.
I've seen their van around the county, and so they.
Oh, you got it.
How often do you do it?
We do it every year.
Okay.
I'll forward it to you. Thank you for everything you do. How do we answer something like that? Because we don't have economic reports on projects from 2015.
We should.
Okay, our next resolution is going to be commending the 2022 Star Performer, Star Leader, and Star Team of the Year. If Jordan, Veronica, the Plat Review Team, which would be Lisa, Gary, and Cody, if you'd all come up.
It's cold in here. It's pretty cold
Very good. All right. I will go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution number 23-061, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, commending the 2022 Star Performer, Star Leader, and Star Team of the Year. Whereas each year, Pasco County recognizes a Star Performer of the Year, Star Leader of the Year, and Star Team of the Year for their accomplishments. And whereas Jordan Miltner, has been selected to receive the 2022 Star Performer of the Year award. Veronica Ignet Oh, good. Very good. Has been selected to receive the 2022 Star Leader of the Year Award, and the Plat Review team, including Lisa Kroll, Gary Haworka, okay, and Cody Vaughn, have been selected to receive the 2022 Star Team of the Year Award. And whereas in order for an organization to become premier, it must attract, grow, and support a workforce of servant leaders that are dedicated to improving the lives of people, contributing to a purpose larger than their individual job, and performing at the highest possible level in and day out. And whereas these 2022 award recipients consistently demonstrate Pasco County's core value through an impeccable work ethic, dedication to service excellence, and achieving quality outcomes in every situation. They serve as an example to their fellow team members of going above and beyond and exemplifying the expectations of Star Performer of the Year, Star Leader of the Year, and Star Team of the Year. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby congratulates our 2022 Star Award winners for Pasco County and commends them for their outstanding efforts in serving our community to create a better future. Done and resolved in regular session with a quorum present and voting this 24th day of January 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Well, congratulations, everybody. As Pasco County likes to be premier, it's going to start with our people. And for the work you do, the dedication, the process this goes through to get recognized like this is a great achievement for you. But I think as you strive to be as great as you can be, I think everybody else does the same, so that just elevates the county every step of the way. So I appreciate your efforts, and I congratulate you all.
Yeah, I certainly thank your work that you've got this far, and leaders of our county and team leaders. It's great that you're part of our employees and our staff here in Pasco County, and it makes everybody want to reach up and be better when people are striving to do their best in their job. So we certainly thank you and all the staff that supports you. So.
And I would echo congratulations for your hard work, and we're glad that you're working for us.
Mr. Bradford?
Congratulations. Excellence is contagious, and you are doing a great job. Thank you.
Okay. Would anyone like to address the board?
Let me do a soft intro here real quick. But yes, they would like to speak, right?
Good practice.
You know, obviously, from an administrative perspective, we echo all these sentiments with these fine folks. And I just want to give you an appreciation for, you know, what it takes to really get here. We took from every department, we've got star performers and star leaders in these departments, and those departments have to make those decisions within their own sphere. It goes to the branch level. And the branches then decide from that group, how do we narrow this down? Then they come up to the executive leadership team, who really has to make that tough call at the end of the day with so many fantastic applications as to which group of folks and which individuals are going to rise to that level of what we call star performer, star leader, and team of the year. So I just, my hat's off to these folks. They have done a phenomenal job. It is about people, as you say, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for that. It is about the people, and these are the folks that not only do they accomplish our mission of serving our community to create a better future, but they do so in such an exemplary manner that is, the example and set the gold standard for those to follow. So I'm going to ask Jordan to come up first to maybe say a couple of words to the board, but, go ahead. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for this. I was absolutely thrilled and honored when I learned that I had been selected for the Star Performer of the Year. And I just have to say, I wouldn't be able to be up here, and I wouldn't be able to do all of the work that I do without our amazing libraries team. I am so fortunate to work with a group of unbelievably talented people who freely share their skills and knowledge with me, and they've inspired me, they've mentored me, and they have just pushed me so much to grow during my time here. And so I'm very honored and humbled by this. And I plan to continue to work hard and impress, and I feel like the best is still to come. So thank you so much for this honor.
Thank you.
much for this honor. I am very humbled and grateful to be in this country and in this county. And this is because of the team that I lead and the team that leads me. And again, I'm so grateful for this wonderful gift. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm told I can speak on their behalf. Good morning, Alex Parnes, County Surveyor. So I would just like to say publicly in this forum, thank you to my plat review team, Gary, Lisa, and Cody. They're definitely unsung heroes in the critical role in the whole development process, and certainly with respect to subdivisions and plats here in Pasco County and our division. I would like to say that I feel surprised and quite pleased that this hardworking team won this award at this level. So now other departments and divisions at all levels are able to recognize this team and all their work they do behind the scenes every day, as we do in-house in our division on a daily basis from our tiny little division. Of course, this is not a solo effort. They work with many other departments and divisions, as well as Jeff Steinsnyder, County Attorney, Margaret Smith, and we thank them for their assistance and direction every day, as well as our field crews. These guys do PRM and PCP and lot inspections, which are required by statute. Every day, this entire surveying and mapping team does the plat process here, and we're very, very thankful that they do it so well with remained excellence. That's the wrong word, but they help us get through this plat review process on a daily basis and get these plats. It's a very long and tedious process, and they get these plats through to the board, and in the immortal words of Stevie Wonder, signed, sealed, and delivered to the board. So they do that every day, and then we get them recorded. So these guys here are the critical role. So thank you. I'm glad that you're finally being recognized.
All right. So if we could, let's take a group picture with everybody down there, and then we'll highlight the three parties separately as well for individual shots as well. Is that okay?
Pasco mapper. Oh, okay.
Group picture first with everybody.
Okay, everybody right here, please. Thank you.
So let's, Joe and Veronica, you step to the side, we'll do the plat team, and then we'll do one by one after that.
Okay, everybody right here. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Yeah, so the individual bucket.
Great job.
All the hard work.
Exactly. All right, right here, everyone. Perfect, thank you.
Walk away. You ain't supposed to walk away.
No.
Okay, now it's time for the consent agenda. I have a few pulls and withdraws. We're going to pull number C11. C12 is going to be withdrawn. C27, pull and discuss. C29 is withdrawn, and C35 is withdrawn. Are there any other items to be added to the withdrawal or discussion?
Move
Okay.
approval of the other consent items.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the most controversial one, we'll start with C11.
It is quite controversial, sir. I inadvertently put this on the consent agenda, but I actually do have a revision, and I have submitted it with regards to the fiscal and revenue statement. There was some account issues there, but those have been corrected, and you have that in front of you. But Mr. Adamois has done a fantastic job as our interim Assistant County Administrator for Public Infrastructure. He's done so very patiently for about the past 6 months, so I commend him for that. And he's been with the county since 2017. Most of you know him as our Public Works Director, and he has made sweeping, amazing changes to really help that department achieve the outcomes that we all need and that our citizens deserve. So we went through a process, and with every hire, especially in the Assistant County Administrators, we go through a national search, bring folks together, and we run them through the ringer. 4, 5, 6 interviews with various team members at all different levels in the organization. I'm happy to say that the general consensus was that Mr. Adamois was the man for the job, and I'm sure he's going to do a much better job than the last clown we had in there. So,
We know that.
But I am pleased to submit him to you for confirmation in this new role.
Awesome. Well, I want to, if I could just lead in, Mike, as your final your comment there. You know, I think when Pasco County has a great core of people, like we just saw the star leaders, star performers, the star team, and you can develop the talent coming in and let those people get promoted from within, going up, even though you want to do the national search, it's a phenomenal accomplishment. And it's something, I think you're doing a phenomenal job. Your leadership has been direct, straight, you've been involved. Very impressed with you sitting down with all the commissioners to kind of like go over the agenda. Just kind of get, if anybody's got any questions, you can kind of handle them right away. But the way you're doing your job has been phenomenal, and the way you've come up through the organization has been great. And that's led the way for Brantford now to make a phenomenal move up. And Brantford, since you've come on, you know, stormwater was a big deal. Procedures of getting things done and through the process has been phenomenal. And the way you've elevated your team, empowered your team to get stuff done all the way through. And no matter what the situation, you've been doing a phenomenal job. So I think you've done a great job to make this position leap, and I think it'll be a no-brainer for you.
Thank you, Jay.
Well, congratulations, and I have now learned how to say your last name properly. So I apologize, because I wasn't saying it that way. But look forward to working with you more.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Bradford?
I just wanted to say I appreciate you being patient with me. It's a new endeavor in your area of expertise. You're always compassionate. You're always understanding. Return my phone calls, which is nice. And I'm very, very pleased that we have kept it in-house because it is about our employees. It is about how we move up the chain, because all of us serve the citizens, and you're doing a phenomenal job. And the guy you replaced, he's all right, too.
All right, Commissioner Oakley?
Thank you.
Or Commissioner Whitney first? Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like Commissioner Bradford, being new to the board, excited to work with you and start this journey together. And so nothing more than that. Just congratulations and excited to learn from you, and hopefully do great things for our folks.
Indeed, thank you.
Branford, I've been working with you and know how you work and approach different, jobs that we have out in the county. And your predecessor did a good job too, so I'll have to commend him. But I think he did a better job when he made such a good pick in you, because you've already started off running and you've started one small thing, it seems like. But remember how many years ago we'd talk about potholes here and potholes there? Bradford instigated a program that when you call in about a pothole, within a day or two, it's already filled and fixed. It's amazing. And I had one of my citizens out in off 41 tell me about that, so I called it in, and the very next morning he calls me and says, hey, it's already fixed. But it's a great program. I mean, it seems like a little thing, but it's huge, because I remember going through many, many years of having potholes that didn't get fixed. So it's a big step. So, but it seemed like a small thing. But I certainly appreciate you being on board, and I think you're a great pick for the county to do this job. With that, I'd like to move for approval.
Oh, yeah. Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Unanimously, Branford.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
But he has a chance to speak.
Branford, come on. Not that easy. Let's go.
You have a little opportunity to say something to the board.
Yes, I had a little bit of speech here.
3 minutes.
My wife said I should make sure I say something. So thank you, County Administrator. Good morning, Commissioners. It is indeed a privilege and an honor to stand before you today. My presence here today would not have been possible without the dedication, hard work, and support of our great team. Field personnel, office employees, supervisors, managers, directors, assistant county administrators. Making a difference in the quality of life of our citizens is what motivates me every day. Integrity, respect, empathy, people, teamwork, pragmatism, and outcomes are what define my leadership and shape my decisions and actions for the past 30 years. Together with the team, we will continue to move towards improving the quality of life of our citizens and making Pasco a premier county. I thank you, the County Administrator, and the team for the confidence and trust placed in me. I pledge to work hard and do my best. I will not let you down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, C27, Commissioner Oakley.
Yes, this is, I believe, a project, Two Rivers project. And a few weeks ago, it came forward to me that part of that's in Hillsborough County and part of it's in Pasco County. And it just struck me wrong when the fact of it was that they were going to build bigger lots, bigger homes in Hillsborough County than there were Pasco County.
Yep.
And I didn't necessarily care for that. And I don't know, I guess I just brought this up so we could discuss it, but someday we got to quit 40s and 50s, or we'll have our county looking not so good like we would like it to look. So someday we've got to shift and have bigger and better lots, better homes in those areas that we're going to build homes, and get away from just 40s. So I don't know, Mr. Cavallo, do you have answer on, and this is going forward, of course, it's out of the box, it is going to be these 40s, but is there a mix and match of 40s, 50s, and larger size in Pasco County on that part, or is it all 40s?
I'd probably have to defer to planning on what's in the Two Rivers MPUD. I would imagine typically there is a mix, but Terry, do you have any information on Two Rivers?
to Victoria Espirito's Planning and Development. So the question is, just for me to recap, if there's a mix of lots within Two Rivers?
Mixed lots, well, there is, because there's large lots, I hear, in Hillsborough, but in Pasco, are we all 40s or small lots, or do we have a mix and match of different size lots? Because I think a while back, we made, I believe it was March a year ago, that we said we would like to have a mix of 40s, 50s, and larger lots. So are these all 40s, or do you know? I mean, I might be putting you on the spot, but
Yeah, I'd have to look at the
you.
plans specifically, but as I recall, there is a mix of 40s and 50s. Now, if there are 60s and 70s in there, I'd really have to look at it. The Two Rivers MPUD was approved in September of 2021, and the direction the board provided came about in March of 2022. So since March of 2022, we've been actively working to create a much larger mix of unit types within developments. Still, there are some provisions in the direction that was provided by the board that if more 40-foot wide lots were to be added into development, they had to follow a particular style of development, like traditional neighborhood design, rear-loaded lot sizes, that sort of thing.
Right.
So to speak specifically to Two Rivers, I'm not able to recall off the top of my head.
Okay.
But generally speaking, that's my understanding as well, that Two Rivers straddles the two counties, and larger lot sizes trended to be within Hillsborough.
Yeah. I just like larger lots to come more to Pasco than I had Hillsborough, so. And I brought this forward just to discuss, not do anything else, but just to discuss it. And someday, and I don't know exactly what we have to do in our zoning or whatever, someday we need to move away from these smaller lots to larger lots for our county. So, if y'all have something to say, or Mr. Steinstein?
So, as I think the commissioner has acknowledged, the action of approving a final subdivision plat is a ministerial act by the Board of County Commissioners.
Right.
So long as it complies with the land development code and its zoning, you must approve it.
Right.
That does not preclude the dialogue that you're having for future projects, but I just want to make sure that
This is just
that's
used-
part of the record.
I'm just using this as an example of what we have coming on some of our projects. We've already approved them, and I'm not trying to stop them, but I want to be careful that this train doesn't get bigger going down that track, and we can't stop it.
So the other thing that you should take heed of, I guess, is that as with all of your MPUDs, you set those lot types when you approve the zone. It's unlike straight zoning, Euclidean zoning, where the zoning category classifies what lot sizes you're going to find in that project because they've got minimums.
Right.
That decision is up to the Board of County Commissioners when they approve the MPUD zoning district. So as many of those conditions that you see attached that staff provides for you, one of them is what size lots they can have, or could be what size lots they can have.
Okay.
Ms. Starkey?
Just on a comment on the 40-foot lots of being rear-loaded. For an example of what these look like, you have Starkey Ranch and you have Bexley. And so for you commissioners who may not know what we're talking about, I would suggest you drive through there, it's right down the street. And when you have a 40-foot rear-loaded product, well, when you have a 40-foot wide front-loaded product, all you have is a garage and a door, and a driveway and a door.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Well, I'm positive. I have no idea how that happened.
Hey, nothing to do with that.
I didn't even touch the phone. Oh, that's so funny. The thing Siri says. But when you have a rear-loaded product, it's a much different presentation to the community and parking and feel. So I encourage you to see what that is that we're talking about, because I think you'll see some good examples of why we should encourage that. I am going to say, I'm not a planner, but I'm pretty sure our comp plan says density along the southern border of our county. But we should, in my opinion, there should be areas where we don't allow 40s, that it should be larger lots. And I think that may be what Hillsborough has, I don't know. Because I see, when you get to the northern part of Hillsborough, it's much more rural. Then, of course, you get to the Pasco County line, and then it's dense to rural. And it seems like communities develop that way, dense to rural, dense to rural. But as we redo our comp plan, I think that's our opportunity to make changes. And again, I want to talk about the form-based code and hope that we're working towards having a presentation. But anyway, rear-loaded 40s and 50s is a whole different animal than front-loaded.
Terry, we'll meet separate and before, so to go over this, because we're doing things in the rural area and looking at things for the future, so. But we'll look more. I just thought we ought to have this dialogue. We got 2 new commissioners, so they can understand what's happening in some of these developments, so.
Okay. And I'll say that I think from the conversation we had, Commissioner Wayton brought it up, we talked about it as well, the lot size. The Tampa Bay Builders Association met with me yesterday. We talked about this. Interesting enough, at the start of the day, I actually had a meeting with a gentleman with a rent-to-own product. And I says, you know, really, I don't want to see more rent-to-owns. I want to have home ownership. Our business community wants to see it. I think people are investing more in community when they're in there.
Right.
These rent-owns are nothing more than really apartments, just in a different style.
Yeah, and
the
I'm
way it
afraid
goes.
what they're going to look like down the road.
And
in the
exactly,
future.
in 40, 50 years, when it's done, what have you got?
Yeah.
And we don't know. So they had a good, it was a good
It's
conversation.
not a rent-to-own, it's built to rent.
Build to rent, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Uh-huh.
That's right, thank you.
Yeah.
So in those conversations, they're going to take a look at that a little bit, but when we talk up here, it actually resonates out there strongly. So all the things we're saying are affecting what they're looking at. We talked a little bit, quite a bit about the 40s and 50s. They even talked about, to make it more affordable, maybe if it was a longer driveway, if they changed the width of the street and put the sidewalk right to the front, it may help with the landscaping as well. So they're looking at things, and they'll be talking with all of us through the time. But I think this type of conversation is important.
Okay.
And you know, to hear that Hillsborough County had got the bigger lots, we got the smaller lots.
Right.
Our values just went down in the county, and I don't think it's what we want. So for us to negotiate, I think we got to negotiate stronger. We've got to minimize those 40s and 50s and work for bigger. So if that means we've got to put another direction out there, maybe it's something that we need to do a mini agenda item for it, to kind of bring it back to say, instead of having a mix of this 50% that's going to be 40s and the balance can be 50s, we need to give them the direction to go forward.
Right.
So I think if maybe we can set an agenda item up to bring it back, let's have the discussion on it. And again, as we talk about, parking is a big issue, parking on the streets, big issues. And I think, Commissioner Starkey, you'll like this, we talked about Pulte Homes doing that nice project where they had the back-loaded, rear-loaded project, and it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
When you can actually walk out in the front of your house, get to a trail that may take you to the library, to a park, whatever, that's like great quality of life. And I think they would do more of those if they had better incentives to do so, because it's more expensive to build it. Now, over in Beacon Woods East, they have a linear park run on 5A Road. They got credit for putting a trail there, running all the way through. Now, they have to maintain it, but that trail running down there, which they maintain, they got credit for having a linear park, and that was part of the park thing. So between giving them maybe some credits on the park mandatory requirements that we have, maybe we give them a credit for that, maybe we give them a transportation discount if the trail's big enough that connects to something else to go forward. So that could be part of a discussion too, to make a better product, which is what we're gonna be looking for long-term.
Well, when we have this discussion, I'm sure we'll look at a lot of things, but I know that one of the costs that in the past have made it expensive to do rear-loaded is the requirement that our fire marshal was requiring for the width of an alley. But I think there are ways that we can make that much less expensive, and I've seen it around the country, and I think we're working on that too. But that is a big cost, is the alley, and there are ways to get that.
Commissioner Stark, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was one of the points that did come up as well. And when you look at that, we have some neighborhoods right now that we permitted that used to have a, let's say, normally a style would be a cul-de-sac at the end. At the cul-de-sac, the fire truck would have enough width to turn around. We've allowed them now to actually have a roadway going down further, where the fire truck's got to actually back up. If we're allowing that, we should be able to work with that issue there on these rear-loaded as well.
What has always amazed me is if you have a standard home with a driveway in the front, the fire truck pulls up to the front. On these rear-loaded houses, you can still access the front, but now you can access the front and the back. So why are we making it more difficult with the fire stuff? So you actually have, I don't see why we should have that rule.
So-
And I think that's a self-inflicted rule here in the county.
Yeah, so I think if we could have that discussion, even get the fire folks involved as well, let's bring it back and have a little more in-depth conversation with it. Okay?
But I thank you for allowing us to bring this up, and to have this discussion I thought was very important at this time, so I appreciate that. With that, I would move to approve C-27.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, so I have an 11:30 time certain, the R-37 bid protest. Who's going to address that for us, Mike?
Good morning. Carrie Roberts, Purchasing Director for the county. I am here to address the bid protest decision by County Administrator to Megascapes Landscape and Maintenance, Inc., award to Sunbelt Sod and Grading Company of bid number IFB SN 22-171, as needed sod, multiple year award, no funding required. I have the presentation for you of the timeline. Oh, thank you. All right, the bid originally opened on 8/2/22. We received one bid from Sunbelt Sod and Grading, here referred to as Sunbelt. On 8/16/22, we issued the notice of intent to award. On 8/22/22, Megascapes Landscape and Maintenance, here referred to as Megascapes, protested the award. On 8/29/22, the county administrator denied Megascapes' protest. On 9/13/22, we issued a notice of intent to reject all bids. On 9/15/22, Sunbelt rejected that notice of intent to reject. On 11/2/22, we began negotiations with Sunbelt. On 11/12/22, we revised the notice of intent to award. On 11/29/22, Megascapes submitted a second protest. And on 12/15/22, the county administrator denied that second protest. Okay. The first protest from Megascapes, which was received on August 22nd/22, the protest was received timely. In that protest, they stated that they did not bid. However, if they had bid, their prices would have been significantly lower than Sunbelt. The county's response was that the county administrator denied that protest, saying that Megascapes did not have standing to protest and that they were not an interested party to the bid. On September 15th, Sunbelt protested. In between these two dates, we did issue the notice to reject, which Sunbelt then protested. So their protest stated that they would be at a disadvantage if we rebid because their prices had been submitted with the original notice of intent to award. The county response was that we concurred with Sunbelt's protest letter. The purchasing department was then asked to negotiate with Sunbelt as allowed for by the purchasing ordinance. Through that negotiation, we did obtain lower prices, and we did obtain a 3-year firm pricing from Sunbelt. We issued a subsequent notice of intent to award for the second round, and we received a second protest on November 29th from Megascapes. They reiterated their claim regarding their prices being lower. They claimed that they did have the right to protest as a, quote, prospective bidder. They stated that purchasing director is also not meeting the responsibilities to minimize the expenditures for the county by awarding to Sunbelt. The county's response was to deny the protest. We also explained the term prospective bidder applied only to solicitation protests, not to award protests. Megascape, we felt, is not an interested party to the protest, and we explained that not only does the purchasing director have the responsibility to minimize expenditures, but also has the responsibility to ensure the integrity of the procurement process and not just minimize the expenditures there. Our recommendation is that the board upholds the decision by the county administrator to deny the protest by Megascape Landscape per the purchasing ordinance. We have both vendors here to speak. Megascapes will be given a chance to speak, and then Sunbelt will be given a chance to speak as well.
Okay, we both set up for 5 minutes apiece? Okay.
Actually, it was 10 minutes, sir.
10 minutes apiece?
Yes,
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Charles Graham, here on behalf of Megascapes Landscape Commissioners. The timeline is absolutely what I had essentially prepared as well. One thing that I would add to it is that on the 13th, we were advised by telephone by Ms. Roberts, and I'd like to start by commending Ms. Roberts, Mr. Carbella, and everyone else that I've spoken with at the county for their professionalism throughout what's been sort of a lengthy and somewhat tedious process, but nonetheless, thank you to both of you for your professionalism. We were advised on the 13th, the date of the issuance of the rejection of all bids, and I might point out that it's a sole bid, a single bid, that verbally Ms. Roberts indicated during that conversation, she asked me two things. One, would we meet the I should add, for the benefit of the board, we are the current contract holder, have been for the last 2 years. We hold an additional 4 contracts with Pasco. One of those contracts also includes the provision of sod at Pasco, at Starkey Boulevard and Alico Pass on US 19. We're placing sod and doing maintenance and landscaping for the county there. We were told on the 13th in that telephone conversation that all bids would be rejected, and in fact they were subsequently on that date, as Ms. Roberts indicated. The notice of rejection of all bids was issued. We were also told during that conversation that the project would be rebid because of the size. It was pointed out, and to give you to give the board a concept of the amount of monies involved, our annual cost under this contract was around $500,000. The last award was for $504,000 per year for the 2-year existing contract. The first bid submitted by Sunbelt was for $750,000, a very, very substantial increase. And again, it was a sole bid. On May the 13th, we were aware that this was coming up for rebid. On May the 13th, 2022, well before this solicitation was opened, I personally opened an Excel spreadsheet entitled Sod Rebid Worksheet, and that has been submitted to the county. I was actually able to lower our prospective bid in anticipation of this bid being issued. I was actually able to lower our annual cost from the $504,000 under the old existing contract to a $496,000 bid. So that, again, the commission will understand that this $750,000 bid received by Sunbelt was a very, very large increase. I prepared this in advance of the issuance of the solicitation, which I believe was in June. Is that correct? I have it on my timeline here somewhere. So May 13th, I began to prepare the bid in order to submit it. I don't have the date exactly of the issuance, but you're looking at the person who made the human error of overlooking. While watching on the BidNet direct system that the county uses for these bids, I kept looking for it daily, weekly, and I did not see it. I believe because of that time of the year, you get a large number of bids at one time that come in, or solicitations, I should say, that it rolled past the first page. We missed it. We didn't see it. It's human error. I kept anticipating that. I knew that it was coming up, during this season, this time of the year, last year, and finally placed a call to the purchasing department and realized to my horror that like 3 days earlier it had closed. And so we had fully intended to submit a bid. We have an affidavit to that effect. So the county's position in the denial of our appeal, among other things, has been stated words to the effect that, that we were just someone, the county is concerned that someone, anybody could just call up. Well, That's not, I don't think, a completely fair representation of our position. We are the existing contract holder, and by definition, we were the low bidder. The county has indicated, there's not any obligation in the county to notify us of that upcoming bid. True enough, although I believe it's in the county's best interest. And I'd like to make, among the recommendations we're going to make to the commission today, is that the county take a look at making that a policy. I know that I meant to print it out. I didn't have the time this morning, but there is a list on the county purchasing website of all of the term contracts, be they a year or more, in which various vendors provide ongoing services and goods to the county. And it's a number of pages, at maybe 20 lines per page. So we're talking literally over 100 of these term contracts of a year or more in length. The county, in my opinion, and I'll go ahead and make the recommendation, this is not just a one-off, I don't think. I think that there are probably instances where, by definition, the current low bidder, the current contract holder, should be notified as a matter of policy. I believe that it's in the county's best interest financially, and the taxpayer's best interest. What we're talking about here is the bid that we would have submitted. And if the county rebids this, as we believe that it should, the county has evidence before it that I had prepared a bid of $496,000 per year. The county has before it today a recommendation to award $580,000. I've further analyzed the actual use by the Department of Public Works of this sod. We're talking about grass. And they're not going to meet that $585,000 budget at the proposed prices by Sunbelt. The county, and to Ms. Roberts' credit, they have acted to reduce, by negotiating, to reduce the county's cost, but I don't believe they've met the requirements under the purchasing ordinance to minimize that cost. The county has substantial evidence before it that should it, as I believe the commission should, rebid this solicitation, that the county will receive a bid slightly under $500,000 for this service. Thank you. Any questions? I'll go ahead and make.
I'll make a comment.
Yes, ma'am. Please, Ms. Stark.
As much as I would love to pay less money, and I'm not an attorney, but if you don't bid, you don't bid, and there was only one bidder, and I can't imagine that we would go down this path of throwing out a bid because someone missed the bidding. I feel for you.
Your point's well taken. The county's point that someone could just come along and say, hey, we would have bid less. Point's well taken. But again, we're not just someone off the street that happened to see this. We are the current contract holder.
But I think we have to be fair to everybody.
Sure.
And
Yes,
again,
ma'am.
I feel for you, but
Yes, ma'am.
when I heard you were protesting because you didn't bid and you want to, and you missed it, I didn't know how that was even legal. So.
Right. My reading of the ordinance says that the county's not obligated to award any single bidder a contract. In fact, the county attorney may be familiar with exactly where it's at. I must confess I'm a little more familiar with the ordinance than I'd like to be, having spent a few hundred hours on it the last few months. But it's clearly stated in the ordinance that the county is fully within its rights to reject any bid.
And it's fully within its rights to accept any bid.
That's right. It absolutely is. But it also says in the ordinance that the county has an obligation and a duty to minimize expenditures. And, that has not been accomplished here. The county has considerable evidence before it, including an affidavit and a spreadsheet that I had prepared that will save the taxpayers of this county somewhere between $350,000 and $450,000 over the next 3 years.
Commissioner Waitman?
Thank you.
I'll go to Commissioner Open next.
I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Charles Graham.
Mr. Graham?
Yes, sir.
It pains me to see a Pasco-based business, Pasco first, right, not receive an award, participate, receive an award. Very familiar with bid processes in,
yes, sir.
in past life. We have to uphold the integrity of this process. And this is a situation, from my understanding, looking into it, because Pasco-based business, I want our Pasco-based businesses
Yes, sir.
to win. I don't think there's any coming back when you pull the bid specs after the due date. Human error happens. Any bid process, especially in government, depending on what platform you use, is clunky. It's, in my experience, no matter what, it's kind of a pain. It's not necessarily always user-friendly, and I've talked to Mr. Breitenbach about it, and, there's a human factor, there's a platform factor, there's a submittal factor, there's some subjectivity based on scoring. This is one of those situations that, you just missed it. And the fact that if we have a vendor come up after the fact and say, hey, we know what a competitive similar business puts out there, and then you come out and say, here's what we can do, I think it muddies up the process, and this is just an unfortunate instance where the process needs to, follow what we have going on here. As far as, the courtesy in having staff remind our folks, hey, your bid's coming out, I appreciate that sentiment, but when we have so many procurements coming out, I think there's a duty, it's your business, it's how you're making your money, that business be laser focused and know the terms of their contract, and when your bid comes up and, hey, we need to be ready for this procurement, we need to have our due diligence done ahead of time, be ready to have our Q&A when that process comes up within it.
We were.
But you said you were, but you weren't.
We were, but we missed it.
Yes, and, it stinks. Y'all are a Pasco-based business. Sounds like you do a good business. You have several contracts with the county.
Yes,
From
sir.
my understanding, I think the county is sufficiently satisfied with the work you all provide.
To the best of my knowledge, yes, sir.
And, but based on the process, I think this board, we have to support staff in this issue and uphold this process. And, it's just unfortunately one of those situations that I don't necessarily think that we need to switch direction here. So,
Well, I don't want to take too much of my time, maybe about expired at this point, but, my recommendations are threefold, and then I'll sit down and, let you guys make your decision.
If I could, let me get to Commissioner Oakley. You want to ask
Yeah,
a
please.
question?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
thank you.
if I may, and I don't want to cut the commissioner off, but if you've got questions for the protester, now would be the appropriate time. If you want to explain your vote, let's hear finish the protesters, the second vendor who is here, who has gotten the award, and then you all can discuss how you're going to vote.
But he may not need to even speak.
That's okay.
No, we
We're all-
should, we need to hear from everybody.
I can do that. I just,
But
I
no,
was just going to express that I've been in business, and you get bids, and usually you try to have more bids than one. If you only get one bid and you have to go forward with your job, you accept that bid and go forward. So
Okay, so do you
that's
have
what business is.
any direct
Okay?
questions?
Yeah.
We'll do discussion after, but do you have any direct questions?
No,
Okay, I'm just going to ask one question.
I don't understand why they didn't bid, but
Yeah.
It's simple oversight, Chairman Oakley. We didn't see it as it rolled over the computer screen. We were ready for it. I was looking for it. I mean, you're talking to the person who made the oversight, to be clear.
Okay, and I appreciate your acknowledging that.
Yes.
So just have one question for
Yes,
you.
Mr.
With the
Mayor.
work, you have contracts with us right now that are in place?
Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, we've been continuing to provide sod over the last 6 months to the county under our other contract, which is the horticulture contract that we use to maintain and landscape the property at Starkey Boulevard and Alico Pass, and also at US 19. So we've continued to provide
So you still have
those
that-
services at but because it also contains provisions for Bahia and St. Augustine side, which is what this contract is exclusively, is about grass on the side of the roads. So we had that additional contract that's still in place, and the county has been using
Does that
Us.
contract, does that contract continue, or does it end at?
Yes,
some point?
we have an order right now in our books to do work for the county.
And how
you
long
know,
does that
at
contract
a far
run?
greater, at a far lower price than's being considered this morning.
All right. How long does that contract run?
I believe it runs through this, until the fiscal year, October of this year.
Okay.
I might add that we offered to continue interim pricing, back, and Sunbelt apparently was not willing to do so.
Okay. Commissioner Bradford, do you have a question? No? Okay. All right. We thank you, sir.
All right, can I close with just my recommendations and then I'll have a seat? Or,
Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, obviously, we believe it's in the county's best interest to capture the $350,000 on behalf of the taxpayers by rebidding the contract. Additionally, it would seem to me that it would be in the county's best interest if there is a concern about the bids closing and then someone objecting, that, possibly an amendment to the ordinance, that's not what the ordinance says regarding the protest. It does, in fact, say that prospective bidders, us, may protest an award. It's right there in the four corners.
That's your interpretation, sir.
Well, no, I mean, it's there,
All right.
quote unquote. But, I would recommend the county might want to amend that if there's concern about future occurrences like this.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And now Sunbelt?
Oh, we're not getting to commissioner items.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner items.
Good morning. My name's Danielle Silva. This is Leslie. We are with Sunbelt Sod. We just want to thank you for your time this morning, your consideration of this matter. Just tell you a little bit about ourselves. We are a small family-owned and operated business. We've been in the sod industry, specializing in sod for 25 years now. We specialize in local municipality work, DOT work, so this is what we do day in and day out. We hold other sod contracts with the county. We currently hold the Bermuda contract for the Parks Department, I believe, and the school board as well. So we are well-versed in working with the county. Just want to say that we have been doing bids via the sealed bid process since the late 90s, early 2000s. And, we appreciate the upholding of the integrity of the process and, your consideration on the matter. That's all I have.
Any questions?
Well, it's just going to be interesting. When does this bid come up again? Is it a 3-year bid? Is that what I heard?
All right, so
All right.
3 years.
Yes, ma'am, you awarded the contract for a 3-year period at the last meeting.
Well, thank you. Where are you located?
We're in Ruskin, so we're in Hillsborough County.
In Hillsborough County. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Unless you have any questions for me, we would like to recommend that you uphold the award that was made at the last meeting.
Okay. One question for you. The previous bid, he mentioned, was like a 2-year-long bid. Any reason we went to 3 years on this one?
The standard contract is typically 3 years. Some of the multi-year awards in the past have been for 2 years, but we are trying to standardize on a 3-year with 2 one-year renewals. So we took opportunity to try to start that standardization with this contract this year.
Okay. Commissioner Waitman?
With the renewals with sod, are there indexed with price increases on the extensions, or are the prices hold firm?
Yes, sir.
And what index do you use?
This one does not have this contract that we just entered into does not have extensions. It's the 3-year flat.
Okay.
The previous ones also were for 2 years flat, did not have extensions. But for future reference, we would tie extensions to CPI indexes and so forth, depending on the project.
I just encourage appropriate index for appropriate industry. We talk about that later, but thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm going to move recommendation of
Let's keep the discussion going if we could.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Bradford?
Mr. Chair, it's unfortunate that we're here at this position, but a mistake was made. They acknowledged it. Bid came in. County played by the rules. And I think that because of that, we should uphold the decision by the county administrator. And it's also important that transparency is very, very important in this process. Everybody knows what's going on, but when a mistake is made, someone takes responsibility for that. Gentleman came up here and took responsibility for that, and I think we should support our county administrator.
So let me ask first of all, I think we do need to put a policy in place, though not binding us, so that in case we don't get it out there, but we should be notifying, I don't think, not only the people that have a current bid out on the contract, but the people that bid on the previous contracts too, to get as many bids as we can.
I agree, Chairman, actually.
Please hold. I also think that we should look at the font size as far as what we're using for that thing. I mean, when we look at our bid tabulation, I got to put my glasses on to see that stuff. Sometimes you got to blow up the picture, right? So
Oh, yeah.
I think that could be easier so people don't miss these things. I'm just going to touch to one question. I know sometimes we've had a couple of bids that come in, they were extremely high, right? And they were just one bidder, and we've rejected that bid.
Yes, sir.
This one here came in a lot higher,
Yes, sir.
and you negotiated with the bidder.
Yes, sir.
That's the one crux I have trouble with. You had the flexibility to reject if you chose, instead you decided to negotiate. And that's the one issue that I have with it. And
They
again,
negotiated during a protest period.
which is okay.
That, the vendor protested the rejection of all bids, and then were willing to bring their prices down. And the purchasing director thought it was in the best interest to award. That's different than you've got one bidder, it's high, they bring it to the board to reject all bids. If that helps your.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, because, no, they took a procedure they could do, and they went their way, so.
I think in the process, you always have the ability to reject all bids. But in this particular case, where the rejection was protested, and the purchasing director felt that based on the protest, based on the reduction of price, it was better to, you also have Public Works needing a product. And so for the efficiency of the county, to move the county forward, the purchasing director in her role decided this was the best move for the county.
Okay. So you had your flexibility, you made a decision, we looked at it, we approved it the last meeting. I'll say, let's.
Move approval.
Motion?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? I'll just say it's an unfortunate situation, but I think we gotta stand by the process, and hopefully we'll make some improvements in future things with purchasing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, we'll break for lunch. Be at 1:30.